Being on your phone for a long period of time can shut down your brain temporarily. Scrolling through social media for a prolonged period of time can shut down your brain temporarily. Watching movies for a long period of time can shut your brain temporarily. And as a mental wellness expert, I see this transient hypofrontality so commonly because in a world of a lot of cyber noise, we can't help but be overstimulated. So we have to have discipline. And this is a transient hypofrontality is a temporary decline in the prefrontal cortex activity. What is your prefrontal cortex? Your prefrontal cortex is your brain CEO, for example. So, what I'm saying is the brain CEO is that it is responsible for your focus and your attention. It is responsible for your decision making. It is responsible for your impulse control. And it is responsible for your emotional regulation. You see how important this part of your brain is? And now, because you are on social media for prolonged hours, this part of your brain is shutting down. Because you're watching movies for prolonged hours, this part of your brain is shutting down. It's going to leave you feeling mentally sluggish. It's going to leave you feeling impulsive, emotionally dysregulated, and you are endlessly scrolling because you have no discipline. So today we are going to try to be disciplined because our biggest enemy right now is the cyber noise that comes from the phone, comes from being on the internet all the time. Wi-Fi is available. And so we have to protect our mental health from this by setting boundaries. In a previous video, I talked about how you have to set boundaries against not people this time, not in relationships, but against your phone. Imagine you have to set boundaries against the social media that you're exposed to, against the emails that are bombarding your phone. You have to learn to set boundaries against technology. This is the age that we're going to, if we are going to prioritize our mental health. And that's why I was saying that you could check that video out and be sure to let me know what you thought about it. So, back to transient hypofrontality. Like I said, when you have been when you've been exposed for a prolonged period of time to the digital stimulus that is coming from your phone, from your computer, from your TV, maybe by endlessly scrolling, you're multitasking, it temporarily weakens the function of your prefrontal cortex. This, like I said, is your brain CEO. So now it's going to lead you to have poor judgment. So that's why sometimes you're going to be angry and respond angrily. Sometimes you're going to have impulsive online purchases. And then it will also reduce your critical thinking. So you might fall for misinformation easily. That's why you can easily get conned or taken advantage of by people on the internet, because a part of your brain is actually not functioning properly because you've been exposed to it for a long period of time. It can also cause you to be emotionally volatile. For example, causing mood swings after social media use. I'm sure if you are sensitive enough to yourself, you must have noticed this. Then brain fog, where you're going to struggle to concentrate when you're offline. So, how does cyber noise trigger it? And in an earlier video, I broke down what cyber noise is. And if you have not watched it, please go and watch it, because cyber noise is what we need to be talking about in an overstimulated generation where everything is accessible in our phones and on our PCs, really accessible. So, how does cyber noise trigger our brains to shut down temporarily this part of our brain? Number one, by hyperstimulation. Because of the fast paced algorithm driven content that overwhelms our brain's processing capacity. So it's going to trigger you to not be alert. to have poor judgment, to not think clearly. Number two, dopamine flooding. Because of the constant likes, the constant notifications, there are so many rewards that are hijacking your phone every other time. You're not going to be able to function clearly and properly without those stimulants. Number three, continuous partial attention. Because you're constantly switching between tasks, it will fatigue that CEO part of your brain, and therefore make you not able to concentrate, make you not able to function properly. And last but not least, sleep disruption. Because the blue light that comes from your phone screen or from your computer screen is going to affect your sleeping patterns. It causes overexertion of this part of your brain and reduces its ability to recover. So your prefrontal cortex is going to have a problem with rebooting. And that's why people that use social media heavily often report feeling dumber after binge scrolling. It's not just fatigue, it's literal reduced frontal lobe engagement. So, how do you reboot your prefrontal cortex? Number one, the first thing you need to do is have a digital cool down. After 30 minutes of screen time, pause for 5 minutes of focused breathing, where you breathe in to the count of four, you hold to the count of four, and you breathe out. If you need more of these breathing exercises, there are a number of them, and I can let you in on them. We can schedule a Google call and talk and discuss them and see how to help you with resetting your prefrontal cortex. You can also schedule offline blocks. These are 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day when you don't have your screen with you or your phone. And how is this best? I think this is best, and I've tried this before and it has worked magically. Best before bed. Before bed, close your phone, close your computer, switch it off button, and just take 2 to 3 hours to help your prefrontal cortex to reboot. Then physically engage your prefrontal cortex. Remember, when you were exposed to your screen, it had shut down a bit. So engage it with games like puzzles. These are very good games. Engage it with games like chess. Engage it with activities like journaling. We have amazing activities at Lila Haven, our mental wellness platform, that include art. So be sure to book a session with us and let's re-engage your prefrontal cortex using art. And you don't have to be an expert at art to sign up or to come and join us for these sessions. And these sessions are so affordable, they will leave you feeling so relaxed. So if you have fallen into the trap that is affecting our generation right now, please book a session. I will be sure to help you to come out of that, break free from cyber noise, and create strategies for you to move forward and also to help you physically engage your prefrontal cortex. Then another thing you can do is do a dopamine detox. Yes, silence non-essential notifications. Use grayscale mode on your phone to reduce stimulation. And this can help you to come back to the normal routine and awaken your prefrontal cortex. Another thing you need to do is to do movement breaks. Now, for example, if you've been sitting down for 3 hours straight doing some work, just get up and turn around, twist. It doesn't have to be a complicated movement. It can just be a simple exercise like lifting up your legs or putting your hands up above your head, bringing them back down, punching the air. It can just be simple. Or even just walking for 10 minutes. It helps you to exercise your prefrontal cortex. It helps that exercise, the exercise that you're doing helps your prefrontal cortex to come back alive because it boosts its oxygenation. And why this matters is that life is not just about us being productive at our work. It's not just about us being productive entrepreneurs, but This erodes our self control. This causes us to be emotionally unstable. And in the long term, if you do not re energize and revitalize your prefrontal cortex by doing these exercises and bringing it back to the normal, you are going to have long term cognitive ill health. You're going to affect your mental function in the long term. Your brain will not be functioning at the place in which it should be. And so, the more we surrender to cyber noise, the harder it becomes to think deeply, the harder it becomes to resist manipulation or to regulate emotions. There was this story of this lady that had been on call texting this guy that she thought would be a potential suitor. And because they had been on the phone for so many hours, she could not really resist the manipulation. And this person was manipulating her and just using her and trying to take advantage of her. And at the end of the day, because that part of the brain was suppressed, she fell prey to the scam and she was scammed. So you need to do these movement breaks that I've been talking about, do the dopamine detox, do the physical engagement for your prefrontal cortex, like using the games that I discussed. But you can also book a session with us where we'll take you through some art games that can help you to re engage your prefrontal cortex. You can also schedule those offline blocks where you block off 2 hours, preferably at nighttime, to be off your screen. We want you to think clearly. We don't want you to surrender to cyber noise. We want you to be able to regulate your emotions clearly. And that's why we and the team at Lila Haven are so happy that you are going to be joining us for our art therapy exercises that can boost your brain's function and protect you from the pending doom that is coming if you continue along this path where you will have reduced cognitive function. Is your digital diet turning your brain CEO into a passive spectator? Let me know in the comments. And if you need more strategies, reach out to me and I'll be able to connect with my team and give you those strategies. At the end of the day, we need to reclaim ourselves from this overstimulation that this generation has pushed us into, whether we like it or not. So I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I'll be sharing more. So please follow, like,